We all know you have to have a photo ID to get on a plane, to get a hotel room, a variety. I even had to have a photo ID to pick up a mattress.
Wow.
And transport it to my house on my own. I needed a photo ID in order to get my wife's library book that had been reserved at the library.
State Representative Adam Byrd, welcome back to Message from the House.
It's an honor to be with you. Thank you for the opportunity to be in Columbus and talk to you.
Yes, we're very excited to have you. It feels like the summer has flown, but I want to ask you, what has it been like being back in the district predominantly these last couple months?
Yeah, going to meetings, knocking doors, going to the county fair.
Very good. Okay, we have a big topic to discuss today. Let's go back to June when SJR 10 passed through both chambers. For those that are not familiar with SJR 10, what does this resolution work to do?
Well, this resolution is going to put the issue of photo ID on the ballot for the voters. And, you know, the only people in the state of Ohio that can change the Ohio Constitution is the people themselves. And that's how we change the Constitution in Ohio. So we're asking the voters to consider the issue. And so they're going to have the opportunity to decide whether a photo ID requirement in order to vote will be placed in the Ohio Constitution.
And it will appear as issue 3 on the ballot, correct?
That's correct, issue 3. And we changed that a couple of years ago where we don't go back and start at 1 every General Assembly. We're going to continue to go forward. And that way, there's not confusion.
Yeah, definitely less confusing there. I want to ask, I know that you were one of the joint sponsors of the House's companion resolution. That was HJR 9. Why is the topic of election integrity so important to you that you wanted your name on this bill to spearhead it?
Well, we passed a bill a couple of years ago to place it into law, and I was a co-sponsor of that. Obviously, I'm going to be a supporter of that because, you know, we want election integrity. I think Ohioans want election integrity. But the reason we decided to take an additional step, and I was thankful to be a sponsor of this, is because there's been a couple of states recently that had a photo ID requirement in their law, specifically Hawaii and Virginia, and so elections happen, new people are put into office, and they decide to strip it, to remove it from state law. And so in Ohio, you know, the law that we can change is here, but the Constitution's up here. And this is an attempt to put the photo ID requirement at a little higher level than state law. It'll make it more difficult for someone to attempt to strip that from the law in the future.
Thank you for going over that. I want to ask, you know, you said that you believe that Ohioans do want this. Mm-hmm. Talk me through it being a bipartisan issue. Why do Ohioans as a whole want this? Not just Democrats, not just Republicans.
I think that we want to, I think all Ohioans, I've been here all of my life just about, and we want to safeguard the future.
Yeah.
And, you know, safe, free, fair elections are something that is a hallmark of our constitutional republic. And people want to have confidence that those who are voting are, number one, citizens, but number two, also have a photo ID. And you know, you think about a photo ID requirement. We all know you have to have a photo ID to get on a plane, to get a hotel room, a variety. I even had to have a photo ID to pick up a mattress.
Wow.
And transport it to my house on my own. I needed a photo ID in order to get my wife's library book that had been reserved at the library. And so this is something that Ohioans are used to. They do this all of the time.
And I want to ask, some of the pushback that is out there is that this is going to make it harder to vote. Will you just talk through your opinion on that?
Well, I think that is a talking point used by some. I think it's outrageously false. This is something that we combated when we passed the bill a couple of years ago. The author of that bill was my friend Thomas Hall from Butler County, and we passed that bill. And when we passed that bill a couple of years ago, we heard that same argument. that this is going to disenfranchise voters. This is somehow going to keep certain people from voting. And since that bill was passed, we've had a couple of elections. So if someone tries to use that argument, I think it's demonstrably false, and we can look to the last couple of elections to prove that.
So this will be on the ballot. Why was it important for you all to let voters decide this issue? You know, for lawmakers and for constituents, why is it important for all of them to be able to weigh in on this?
Well, that's the way we changed the Constitution in the state of Ohio. Only the people can change the Constitution, and we've already weighed in. We've already voted as state legislature a couple of years ago, and we placed it in the law. And so we think it should be in higher than law. It should be in the Constitution. It makes it more difficult for future citizens or legislators of the state of Ohio to change. And that's where we want to put it, in the Constitution. We believe in it that much.
As you've gone back to your district, and what kind of feedback have you gotten?
You know, there's some question, because most of my constituents know that we've already done something on this issue. Most of my constituents say, well, I think I was already given my photo ID when I voted. And so you have to just explain to them, yes, you're right on both counts, and we want to ensure it and safeguard it just a little bit more. And again, I point out that the reason we do that is because we've seen a couple of other states that have made a change. And when you see that, it makes you concerned for Ohio. We don't want to go down that path. And doing this in November would safeguard it for Ohio.
Absolutely. I want to open the floor. Is there anything else that you want to add in?
Well, we want to leave an Ohio better than we found it. And, you know, when you have term limits in Ohio, we only have an opportunity, if we can get reelected, to be here 8 straight years before you have to sit out 4 and maybe you don't come back. And so, you know, we all do this because we want to be public servants, and we want to serve our community. And I think the vast majority of those who are elected to state legislature, we want to do good things for Ohio. We want to leave an Ohio better than we found it. We want to safeguard it for our children. And so, you know, that's the purpose of why we go down this.
State Representative Adam Byrd, thank you so much for coming on.
It's an honor to be with you. Thank you for what you do, and I hope that people get engaged and vote in November.
Yes, absolutely. Quickly, you can follow us on the Ohio House GOP Caucus on Facebook, Ohio House_GOP on Instagram, and OHR GOP Caucus on Twitter. You can subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Representative, thanks again.
Thank you.